boys and girls from Godly Play. This is Miss Helen, being filmed by Miss Becky. Today we're going to start on a new series of stories that normally we would have been telling after Easter. And it's about how the disciples had to learn Jesus in a new way after Easter. The first story, in fact, takes place on the very first Easter. The Sunday after the crucifixion, a number of women went to the tomb where Jesus had been laid. They were going to complete the burial process and were carrying spices with them, with which to anoint the body. One of the women was Mary Magdalene. She was a good friend of Jesus's, and she was very sad about what had happened. As they walked to the tomb, the women talked among themselves and wondered how they would move the enormous stone out of the way from the opening of the tomb. But when they got there, they were astonished to find out that it had already been moved aside. There's the edge of it that you can see. Mary Magdalene looked in, and she was amazed to see that there was no body there. There was only the white linen in which the body had been wrapped. She went to the disciples and told them what she had seen. Most of them didn't believe her, but Peter wanted to know for himself, so he and John went to the tomb. And when they got there, they found it exactly as Mary had told them it would be. There was no body and only the white linen cloth. They went back to talk to the other disciples, but Mary stayed there. She was very sad, and she was leaning against the wall of the tomb, and she was crying. And suddenly she saw two men dressed in white, and they told her, "Why are you looking for Jesus? He is not here, he is risen. Go and tell the disciples that he will meet them in Galilee." And then she turned and saw another man, whom she thought was the gardener. And she said, "Please, sir, tell me where they have taken the body of my Lord, and I will go and get it." And he looked at her and said, "Mary," and she knew who he was. This story always makes me wonder a lot of things. One of them is what it would be like to be so sad and find out news like that was actually so joyful. That might be something you might want to think about this week and talk with your parents and maybe your brothers and sisters about. Hey, boys and girls from Godly Play. Do you remember what we used to do after we had the story? We would go around the room and find things that we wanted to work on. And there were a lot of choices. So today I thought I would do a little bit of a craft. Maybe you could do something like this at home too, because I'm using Play-Doh. Remember, we had a lot of Play-Doh. And today I'm thinking about the story about how the women went down to the tomb and they found the stone rolled away. So I've decided that I'm going to make the tomb out of clay. I don't have a lot of clay, so it won't be a very big tomb. Now I think the first thing I want to do, I've got white clay, or white Play-Doh actually, I know there's a difference. I have white Play-Doh and black Play-Doh, so the first thing I'm going to do is make gray, because that's what I think most stones are going to be. So I'm going to take some black Play-Doh, and I'm going to work it in, and we'll see what color I get. This might take a while, mightn't it? Ooh, there it goes. I can always add some more. I don't want to make it too dark right off the bat. Ooh, and the way it's working, it kind of looks like stone. Have you ever seen stone that has all the sort of patterns in it, the way the stone is developed? Well, it's kind of working out that way with my Play-Doh. So it looks pretty realistic to me, even if it's a little on the small side for a tomb. I think that's all I need. Okay, so I want to take some to be the stone. Remember, there was a big stone that was at the entrance of the tomb. So let me take some of that. This is going to be my stone, I think. Now, how am I going to make this a tomb? I guess I could kind of flatten it out and then kind of poke it up like this. You know, it would probably be good if some of you were here to help me with this. I haven't done any serious work with Play-Doh in a long time. So I could do this, I guess. It does kind of look like an igloo. Maybe if I kind of flattened it. Oh, yeah, I think that's helping. That makes it look more like a tomb, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can make the opening a little bigger. Because, I mean, if the stone was big, the opening would have to be pretty big, too. Ah, I don't want to break it. Well, let's make sure that it's all closed in the back. Like you wouldn't want to have like a back entrance or something. Okay. All right, so there I think is my tomb, and it looks kind of rough. I think it looks like a rock or kind of like a rocky hill. So this is what I'm going to use to make the stone. So it's going to have to be at least big enough to cover that door. So I think this might be not too hard. I'm just going to roll it into a ball. There's my ball. Ooh, and look at that nice vein right going through there. Oh, that really looks stone-like to me. Now I'm going to kind of flatten it out a little bit. Okay, yeah. Wow. Ooh, it's trying to fall over. Okay, so there's my stone. I can roll it out of the way. If I had little tiny figures small enough, I could redo the entire story with this. So maybe you have something at home that you could use, and you could see if you could make something out of the story. I think making the tomb is probably the easiest thing. And maybe when we get together again, you can tell me what you made. All right, bye-bye, and we'll see you next week.